أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I want to start by thanking the organizers, and I think that once again this year we have a wonderful organization and convention. And I know that many that I have been meeting just today, and it's just impressive to see that the first day we have so many people attending. Some were asking me how we can be in touch and carry on, you know, beyond the fact that we have big lectures and it's always difficult. Let me just tell you something that I'm also here to share with you. Through the website, my website, we have started to do something which, in fact, it's carrying a project every month, a monthly live stream lecture where you can get and follow. This year, the topic is about freedom and liberations. And this is a way also for you to follow and to have something which is substantial every month. The second thing that I want to ask you, because we are here in Canada and met so many students who are creative and writing, please, if you have articles in different fields and with CAIL, the Center for Islamic Legislation and Ethics, we are trying to work on different fields from education, medical sciences, gender, environment, psychology, food, arts, all this. We are publishing articles in English, Arabic and French. So anyone who is writing and wants this to be published, please send us the articles. And on booth 903, where there are the book signings, this is where you can find the elements for you to be in touch. And we also have a summer school in Europe. We'll have, inshallah, in the future, also in Canada, in the States, things like this. So please come and to the booth and through the website, through the official Facebook, you can also be in touch with us. Now, the topic is about how, as Muslims, we face the reality of our time and the challenges of our time, and changing our conditions as Muslims, as Canadian or American citizens, as you are here, is something that we feel we need to do and something that we have to be committed to do. How and which kind of mindset do we need, which kind of attitude do we need when we deal with our environment? So the first thing that I wanted to say, and once again it's important when we come back to the life of the Prophet ﷺ, is to understand that what is important in all what we have to do is to start with looking at the way the Prophet ﷺ was dealing with his community in Mecca and then in Medina. And you will see that trusting Allah means, in fact, and the very essence of La ilaha illallah is really to be positive and confident. So this attitude is to say, yes, we have lots of challenges in Canada, lots of challenges in the West or in Muslim majority countries, but still if we look at what is happening in our societies or in our communities, there are lots of things that are moving in the right direction. There are things that are great, and the number of brothers and sisters, look at this, look at the conventions, and look at not only today, but everywhere you go, the reality on the ground is there is a vivid, dynamic Muslim presence and people seeking knowledge and trying to get this knowledge. So this is the starting point of everything. It's to be positive and with wisdom to get this and to be able to assess the situation in a way which is important. Now, you know the hadith which is a hadith who is known as Munkar or Gharib, Rawahu al-Tirmidhi, which is a hadith which has to do with this Bedouin coming to the Prophet ﷺ and asking him about his camel. And he was asking him and telling him, what should I do? Should I tie my camel? Atawakkalu ala Allah? Or what should I do with the camel if I rely on Allah? أطلقها وأتوكل. I can leave it and say, أتوكل على الله. And the Prophet ﷺ, he responded, أعقلها وتوكل. Meaning, tie your camel and rely on Allah. Meaning what? Meaning something which is for us a philosophy of life. The philosophy of life is in every situation, even if you go and you go to do what you have to do, and you are skilled and you know what you have to do, as Muslims, you still rely on Allah. Tawakkalu ala Allah. But before this trust, do what you have to do as human beings and be responsible in the world in order to take responsibility to have to do what you have to do, and then you rely on Allah. This hadith, a very simple thing, it's changing or shaping a mentality, a mindset. As Muslims, we need to get that. And this is why this responsibility to tie your camel, means do what you have to do first. Don't think that Allah is with us and that's it. Remember that the Prophet ﷺ, to leave Mecca, he took 2 years planning about the way he was going to leave Mecca. He knew that Allah was with him. He knew this. And even with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, when Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was scared, he told him, Ya Abu Bakr, ma dhannuka bithnain, Allahu thalithuhuma. What do you think of two? Allah is the third one. Meaning, we planned, we did what we have to do, now ala Allah. But first, 2 years planning. And as Muslims, when we are facing the situation, when we are trying to be now facing the reality, this is the two things that we need to get. Something which is deep trust, that we rely on Allah, and then to be skilled, to do what we have to do to face the reality. And at the same time, this dimension is, how would you define this attitude which has to do with knowing what you have to do and relying on Allah? In Islam, the very meaning of this is al-hikmah. يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us He gives this wisdom to whoever He wants. But the one who gets this hikmah, is the one who has something which is a great benefit. This is a great gift. And as Muslims today, let me tell you something, that this wisdom that we are talking, al-hikmah, is a sense that where you trust Him, you are confident, but you know your responsibility. Al-hukama, ahl al-hikmah, are following in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ. He was planning, he was doing what was to be done, and at the same time, وَنَتَوَكَّلُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. This wisdom is necessary, because what we see in our communities today is a lack of confidence, a lack of trust. And when we have trust, we don't enough work on skills. We are not even enough equipped. What we need is the two. To be equipped and to trust Him. And to trust Him because we are equipped. And to do what we have to do to be equipped, and then to trust Him. This attitude is the starting point of what we need to have today as Muslim. And this is where we need to be also able to look at the reality with some courage. And as Muslims, with some courage mean to face up to the challenges and to look our community as Muslims and to be able to see what is happening today in our community. There are lots of things that are going well, but there are lots of things that we have to be critical. Our brother just now was saying about the mosques in the West. We have lots of problems with mosques in Muslim majority country, not because of Islam, because the cultural way of dealing with mosque is wrong. Unfortunately, we are importing this culture with us in the West, and we are making our mosque a male space, which is wrong. So I was born in Switzerland, as you know, and I was raised in Switzerland. Many people, they are coming to me and say, you know what, we are respecting your grandfather, you are respecting your father. He founded the first Islamic center in mosque in Europe. It was in 61. It was a very small mosque and a very small space. In this space, men and women were together, the men before and the women behind, following in the footsteps of the Prophet, ﷺ, and no one came to my father to say, what a bid'ah is this? No, you don't clap. No. You just listen to the lecture as if you were reading a book, so you don't clap when you read, you don't clap when you listen. You just think about what I'm saying here, which is something which is important for us. So you might have different spaces. I don't have a problem with this. But if we have different spaces, the spaces for women should be at the same level as men. So when we want to listen, it has to be the same quality. And even here, unfortunately, this afternoon during Jum'ah, we had sisters at the back saying, we were not able to listen. So we have to improve, even at RIS. Just nasiha lil ikhwa. So that's the point. That's the point, that we have to be here critical and we have to be courageous. So for the whole convention, you will be listening to me repeating, brothers and sisters, wisdom and courage. Wisdom and courage. And I mean that. Wisdom and courage. This is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. Wise and courageous. Wise, but not wise at the point that he's losing courage. And courageous, not at the point that he is forgetting wisdom. This is the balance. The way you are wise with your project and courageous as to your resistance. That's the main point that we need to get when it comes to our reality. Now, if we come to look at the reality around us, and we see, look, you look around you, and what we see around us, in fact, is a society where you have people around you. Postmodernism is telling you there is no truth. Everything is relative. Now, when it comes to ethics and morality, it's as if morality is a dirty word. We don't use that now. Freedom is the word. Forget about limits. Do what you want and be free. We know with the neurosciences, we know with the reality that this is a superficial freedom. In fact, that's not true. When you think you do what you want, in fact, you do what they want. And they want are not people from behind the scene controlling everything. It's a culture which is based on consumerism, addiction, dependency, and then you are not free. You feel that you think that you are free, but in fact, you dress as they dress, you think as they think, and you buy what they sell. So this reality is, how am I going to liberate myself from that? As Muslims, I have the duty of liberating myself. And we see our kids, our daughters and our sons to be involved in the process and being consumerists and being also nurturing new addictions to internet, to drugs and to fashion. Even with Islamic references. Now we have a new business in the world, which is the headscarf transformed into a fashion business. And we have, people following, a model, a very nice way of wearing the headscarf. And you ask yourself, are we now implementing the rule or understanding the meaning of modesty in Islam? No. You have a problem with clapping, huh? That's a very important. So, you know what? I am calling within the Muslim communities around the world, and in particular in the West, for a jihad of meaning. A jihad of meaning. Now it's time to understand you will not get your daughters and your sons following the light that we were talking about if we don't reconcile ourselves with the meanings of things. And not because we are scared. The first reaction as Muslims when you are scared is to put limits, to say, haram, 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 don't do that, don't do that. And isolating ourselves. Now we have to do exactly the opposite, is to be assertive with meanings and to interact with meanings. Not to isolate with fear, but to be assertive with confidence, wisdom, and courage. But it means that we have to deal with meanings, that we have to come with the deep meanings of things when it comes to Islam. And then, remember one story, it's the story of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam was dealing with someone who was a tyrant. أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, I am your greatest God. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending him, اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to Pharaoh because he has transgressed. And when he was there, he was scared. Because this is power. As sometimes we Muslims facing the society, we are scared. And look at the wisdom. وَقُلَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. Speak in a nice way. We always have this in Islam. Wisdom is always the way you talk. ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. Speak to them the best way. وقل له قولا لينا. He is saying أنا ربكم الأعلى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responding لا تخف إنك أنت الأعلى. Why? Because I am with you. I am with your wisdom. I am with your tranquility. I am with your peace. With peace, with calm, أنت الأعلى. Not him. He thinks he is because he has power. You should know you are because you have wisdom, belief, and God telling you with tranquility. At peace, in peace, for peace. This is where you are in this society. And then you get this, that every time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Musa alayhi salam, is coming with this and telling him, Inna la yakhafu ladayya al-mursalun. Don't be, la takhaf, don't be scared. The people who have a mission, mursalun, they have a mission, they are not scared with me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending the messengers telling them, you are going to face power, criticism, aggression, much more than what we are facing now. لا يخاف لدي المرسلون. Don't be scared. And it means that this is the trust that we are talking about here. You are facing a society, it's going to be difficult, but from where are you going to have this power, this tranquility? The fact that you are going to face the society, this is where the wisdom should come. And how are we going to get that? That's the most important thing here. And this is where we need to start from the very beginning by understanding that. Every one of us, and I'm talking to every one of us here, it's a personal discussion between you and me now. Because when the Prophet ﷺ got the revelation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him experience something that we can call a conversion. And the Prophet ﷺ remembered this when he was saying to Allah, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qulubana ala dinik. Ya muqallib al-qulub, you can turn my heart in one way or in another. I'm asking you to just confirm, give me the strength of this faith. But this conversion meant what with the Prophet ﷺ and for the Prophet ﷺ and for all the companions? How did he get this? وَلَوْلَا أَن ثَبَّتْنَاكَ, that is thabat, that is, he is powerful, he has lots of strength. This strength is something which is essential. And as Muslims here, the first thing that we need to understand, and I was very happy to listen to Sheikh Maghrawi this afternoon saying, don't try to get from life and think that everything is going to be nice because you call people for peace and that you are nice and you could say, you know what, we are nice and good Muslims. No, life is about being tested. Life is about facing obstacles. Life is about being tested in everything. And we know this, and this is something which is so important as Muslims, because we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He loves us, He's going to test us in what He is giving us, as the hadith is saying, إِذَا أَحَبَّ اللَّهُ قَوْمًا ابْتَلَاهُمْ. We know that if Allah loves you, He's going to put you, He is going to test you. And in fact, you understand in spiritual terms that these obstacles, these situations are going to strengthen your faith and help you to be stronger and stronger. So, عَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. You might detest, you might reject, but this is good. This is good because it's going to help you to know where are the skills, where are the resources, what do we have to do. In fact, you will get the wisdom facing the obstacles and the skills to be able to build a presence in this country. So, by getting this at the beginning, this is the starting point of wisdom. Wisdom is, I am with Allah, and when the companion came to the Prophet ﷺ and told him, I love you, he told you, be prepared to the trial. Be prepared to be tested. Abshir. Bil-ibtila, el-ibtila means this test, this difficulties, these challenges. We know that. But we need to get this. When, I'm talking to Muslims in the West, I can tell you now, get it as I'm telling you. The years to come are going to be very difficult for Muslims in the West. We are not going towards something which is going to be easy. The people telling you, good Muslims, welcome. It's going to be very difficult. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Now, not only because the people are criticizing you, difficult when you look at your daughter and your son and you think about how am I going to educate them in this society. When, for example, the percentage of divorces in our community is reaching the percentage of all the communities, we are in the matter of divorce very, very integrated and disintegrated. That's the reality. So it's going to be difficult. We have to come back to this. It's difficult. We have challenges. How are we going to deal with that? And this is where every single Muslim should and have to come with this understanding. Let me take this not as a victim, but as a soul who is tested. And I have to face up to the challenge. And the point here that it's important is to take responsibility. Now, we need to teach our kids and then to teach ourselves to talk to ourselves. We need to understand that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that Allah, the knowledge of Allah is between us and our heart, inna Allah yahulu bayna al-mar'i wa qalbi means talk to yourself. And talk to yourself means if we want a jihad of meaning, we need to reconcile ourselves with this dialogue with Allah. And this is the relationship with Al-Quran Al-Kareem. You know, colonizers heard this and they knew this in Algeria, and they said it in India and in Algeria. You will win against the Muslims the very moment you separate the Muslims from Al-Quran. Divorce the Muslims from the Quran and they are lost. But if you reconcile the Muslims with the Quran, but what does it mean? Not only tilawah. It's this communication with Allah. When you read the Quran and you listen to the Quran, there is this presence. And it means you talk to Him and you listen to yourself. There is no way to listen to the Quran if you don't, if at the same time you don't get the sense that you are talking to yourself. This confidence is coming from talking to ourselves. Getting it right. Taking time to look at ourselves and get the meanings of things. at the end, why are you praying? Why are you fasting? Who are you following? Are you following a community blindly, or are you creating a community of men and women who are talking to themselves, getting the meaning of things, and being strong as the companions were around the Prophet ﷺ because they knew the meaning? They knew the meaning. They were not blindly imitating. They were intellectually understanding. So, العلم مهم والفهم أهم. Knowledge is important, but understanding is more important. So that's the point. Ask yourself, really, I'm serious about this. You live in Canada or in the States now. Ask yourself how much time you allocate to understand, you really understand. الفهم. As Abu Umar radiallahu anhu was saying, الفهم, which is something which is the true jihad. And then now it means that I myself made mistake as a father, that sometimes you impose and you say you have to do this, and you have your daughter or your daughters or your sons looking, I need the meaning, not the rule. Tell me the meaning. My power is in understanding, is not in imitating. Imitating could be broken. Understanding is standing up. This is a thabat. This is based on understanding. So to listen to ourselves. And there is something, why do you think that the Prophet ﷺ was saying, الدعاء هو العبادة? That in fact the very essence of your relationship with Allah, العبادة means worshipping, is الدعاء. What is الدعاء? الدعاء is talking to Allah. الدعاء is what? Talking to Him. But when you talk to Him, what are you going to say? And by the way, the dua, as we are going to end with dua, I don't want clapping tonight. Just before Ar-Rayhan, which is one of the doors of paradise, we will end by just a silence and thinking about ourselves and our brothers and sisters around the world. Because this is the only thing that I know. You end the night with also thinking about this dimension. The dua is coming from where? When we say it in Arabic, because these are beautiful dua in Arabic, and we know that it's attracting our hearts. But in fact, you talk to Allah the language you understand. So if you speak English, talk to Him in English. But what are you going to tell Him? From where comes your dua? What is the content of your dua? Always your needs. You always talk to Him from where you are. You don't feel at peace, you ask Him peace. You feel that you have a problem in your life with your husband, with your wife, with your kids. You have a problem in your education. What are you going to ask? Please, Allah, just guide my son and my daughter. You always speak to Him from where you are. It means that talking to Him is listening to yourself. Always. You have to be in this attitude with Allah. This is why you say you should tell your daughters, your sons and your wife and your husband, we need to have this time when we talk to Him, because this is giving us this strength. Trusting Him means we talk to Him, and muqinun bil ijabah. Ud'u Allah wa antum muqinun bil ijabah, meaning call Him, talk to Him, being persuaded that He's going to respond. So this is the trust that you have. And this is one of the conditions that we should focus, we should think about it, and we have to be with Him. So talking to Him, listening to ourselves. Now, there is something else that I want you to understand. You live in Canada, or in the States, or in the West. Please, in order to be strong, don't only come to the Quran. The Quran is the light. But instead of coming only to the ahadith with the rules, reconcile yourself with a Sirah Nabawiyah, the life of the Prophet ﷺ. Because the life of the Prophet, when you understand Aisha saying, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ, that his character was the Quran, he was implementing. In fact, I can tell you something. That when you read his life, and please don't say, oh, I know everything about his life. No, you know the dates. You know the facts. You don't know the light in his life. In the life of the Prophet ﷺ, there is light. And when you come back to this, you see the light from different angles, from wherever you are. Sometimes in your life, you see things that you haven't seen before. This connection with his life is essential. And very often in what you are doing, he has to be with you in his life. And this is giving you, the life of the Prophet is a book of meaning. And it is the means to the jihad of meaning. You get me? The life of the Prophet ﷺ. And to be close to this life, not only with the rules, haram, halal, no. The life, not only the dates, you know, tell me when, what happened, Ghazwat Badr, Ghazwat Uhud. No, that's not the point. The details of his life, the things that he did, the fact that the Prophet ﷺ, he was giving his hands and never took it the first. Think about that. Think about the way he was with the poor people. That's power. This is it. This is Islam. The right introduction to Islam is the life of the Prophet ﷺ. And the right path to Islam is the life of the Prophet ﷺ. The in-depth understanding of his message is his life. Because he was the Quran translated into life. So we need to get that also. And there is another thing that we should understand. So the Prophet, we are following him because we love him. We love the Prophet ﷺ. And this is why we are saying, ﷺ. We love him. So we are close to his life. We are close to the life of the one we love. There is something else which is very powerful in our society now. In our communities, we are facing something that I call a psychological crisis. We are facing a famine of affection and tenderness in our community. We think that we have to be protected with the rules, but we don't know how to tell the people we love each other. The Prophet ﷺ, this was at the beginning of Islam, he was saying, if you love your brother, tell him you love him. Why? Because knowledge is power and love is power. Knowledge is the power of your mind, love is the power of your heart. And you need the two. You need to have this power. Because when you feel that you are loved by the people around you, when you go and you are, you know, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِ صَغِيرًا, you say this to your father and your mother. In a society of a consumerist society, when we don't know where our parents are going to end, Islam is telling you, never, never, never. A jihad of love means serve your parents. A jihad of love, care about your kids. A jihad of love, care about the family. A jihad of love means care about the community. A jihad of love means al-ukhuwa al-insaniyya. I don't like what you are doing, but if you are poor, if you are disabled, if you are old, I'm going to be at your service. You know why? Because this is the love I got from Allah to humanity. Because the best among us is the best for humanity. Love is power. One of the great, statements I got from my grandfather, rahimahullah, who was killed. He was killed in 49. And he was proposed to take a weapon to defend himself. And no, I'm not going to take that. I know that they want to kill me, and if they kill me, they will kill me. And you know what he said? سَنُقَاتِلُ النَّاسُ بِالْحُبِّ. We will fight against the people, and our weapon will be love. Bil-hub. Not going to use weapon. This is power. This is power. When the people say, you want to kill me? That's fine. Go ahead. What does it mean? Wisdom and courage. Wisdom, no weapon. Courage, go ahead. No, we are not exactly like this. We are not at that level. But we have to understand that in our society now, this wisdom, this is where we have to take time with our family, with our community. It means stop to be judgmental. Be welcoming. Be full of forgiveness, compassion, rahmah, ruhama baynahum. That's the power of this community. Not haram, halal, enta, kafir. What's that? We like to judge in such a way which is, in fact, our weakness. The power of judgment is weakness as to our confidence. The weakness in our confidence is just transformed into this kind of power of judgment. We like this. And I think that we have to be very cautious with all that and give value to the beloved as the Quran is teaching us. Look at the Prophet ﷺ, so strong against the people, but always loving, always, we have so many stories that are so important. And there is another thing which is important, which will give us some strength. Look, you can now sit here and dream of the unity of our community. Now we have to get it right. There are different trends in Islam. There are Shia and Sunni. And within the Sunni, we have Salafi, literalists, we have reformists, we have Sufi, whatever. As long as we are within Islam, you should not and you have no right to put somebody outside Islam. And as you have no right to put anybody outside Islam, you have the duty to enter into an intra-community dialogue. And stop telling me, yes, that's very good. Because very often when I finish my talk, people come to me and say, very good, say it again. I don't care about saying it again. What I want is us implementing that in our life. Yes, I have a center in Qatar, and I also have a program on Press TV with a Shia TV station. And I mean it. I want to be there. I want to show the people I'm not going to give up on the dialogue. Whatever I can say, whatever are my political positions, our unity as Muslims is much more important than the divisions on political conflicts, because we have people behind using these divisions, and we are weakening ourselves. I think that this is important for us to get involved in this dialogue within. The path of Islam, the way of Islam is broad. Let us come together and have this discussion. This is the dialogue which is important. Stop putting people outside Islam and stop thinking that you have the only right way of being a Muslim. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are many ways. It's many ways and it's many trends that are accepted in Islam. Now, let me say something about an important second dimension, which I think that it's important. As I was saying, this is what we have to get our strength. Now, we are within a society, and we have to also deal with this society and ask ourselves, what is going to be our role in this society, and how are we going to help our community, our brothers and sisters in Islam, to get this understanding that this is the right path and that we can provide something. As I have been, all the books that I wrote are always connected to something which has to do with a plan in the vision. So every book is coming with a vision. There are things that in radical reform are coming with the sources, the foundations. And there is a book that many Muslims are not reading, The Quest for Meaning, where I'm saying that we need to come in our society, because if we want to feel good, we need to feel that our values are not alien value to the society. The problem that we have is the way we say them. This is not the principles. The principles are not wrong. It's the way we talk about our principles. And we need to come here with principle of human dignity, of humanity, things that we have, al-ukhuwa al-insaniyya, human dignity, human freedom, human justice. All these values are important. We need to come with an Islamic discourse which is not talking only to Muslims and not only referring and qualifying as Islamic. Be able to talk about Allah in the way that you are translating principles that are understandable by everybody. If Islam is universal, our discourse should become universal. In the way we talk, not always as different and opposed, but inclusive and open. And when the people are listening to do you think that somebody who is listening to me now would say, this is completely alien? No, they can understand that what we are saying, this is an open discourse. This is a discourse based on shared universal principles. And this gives us confidence. Confidence, but because we see the people understanding, but not because we want to please them, but because this is the message of Islam. And the message of Islam is a universal message based on shared principles, and we need to get that. Now, this is why we have to contribute and to be involved in education, for example. We have to be much more involved in the way we deal with ethics as Muslims, in the way we deal with the curriculum and the substance. So it's not right to have only Islamic schools where we are teaching Islamic disciplines, but it's very much about what we want to bring in science, for example. What is our contribution? We need to have now students, Canadian and American students, that in the field of education as teachers, in the field of science as scientists, in the field of psychology as psychologists, in the field of all the fields are now contributing and coming with a vision. I care about the knowledge, but I also care about the goals and the way we use that knowledge. Muslims should be involved, and this gives us a sense of we are contributing. Educating is giving value to somebody. So if we carry on now telling to our sons and our daughters, be a Muslim on the margin, we're going to lose everything. But be a Muslim and in the mainstream, come with knowledge, be equipped and give something, share something. In the field of education, for example, and science and knowledge, we are celebrating the past by saying Muslims in the past were scientists and philosophers and thinkers in the past. Until when are we going to talk about ourselves in the past as a universal contribution in the past? While now we have the means in the West to be the contribution in the future and in the present. So this is our job, this is our responsibility, this is where we have to be, and we have to talk to our community that language. Be the contribution, use this education now. And by being also a presence where you care about spirituality. We care about what I said in the first part of my talk. The first part of my talk is we care about this dimension. We care about our spirituality and the fact that we are dignified. There are things that we don't do. You know, I was myself, playing soccer when I was young, and we are in sports, we are in, activities. But when the people, they look at you, say, okay, I'm involved, but there are things that I don't do. And we give this strength, and you feel that the strength that the people are respecting you. We need to give this. Do and know your limits. Do and know your dignity. You know the spirituality, that thing that, you say what it means to say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillah. That the people see, wow, this is somebody who has principles. But we don't close the world around us. We open the world and we integrate the world. We are present in the world with our values, with our principles. Assertive, confident, full of wisdom, and courageous. Courageous because we are facing this, and this is something that has to be. Our social presence should be exactly the same. In the retreat with the brothers and sisters, we are talking about solidarity. We have to show solidarity and to show that for us, solidarity is not about charity only. It's about rights. The poor in this country have rights, and we are going to struggle. Migrants in this society have rights. We are going to struggle. Racism, unacceptable. We are going to struggle. We are going to protect the rights of the people because this is dignity. This is where we have to be as Muslims. And when your kids see that us as Muslims who are ready to give, we are respected because we give. We are respected because we speak out. We are respected because we are present. This is, yes, I am somebody. The social, the civic, I am somebody. But I am somebody not because you see me as being, because I feel it. Because I understand what is the power of my religion in the way I'm dignified and I'm doing something. This is essential for us. This is where, as Muslims and women, once again, we are talking about the fact, the mosque, but also in this society, we need to have our sisters being vocal, present in the social sphere, in the public sphere, present, confident, talking about their spirituality, being able to say, no, 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 don't be misled. Don't reduce my mind to the headscarf, but look at my heart. But how are they going to look at your heart if you don't talk, if you don't speak, if you don't say the spiritual dimension? We need to have this. And as long as I speak, I'm still a man. And a man is not going to translate this into the right words. So we have to be there, and you have to be able to speak that way, in a way which is understandable. And as I also think it's important to get that right, it's the artistic contribution. I keep on repeating this. One of the main challenges is going to be entertainment and culture. And you are not educating people, we are not having confidence in the field of culture, we are completely absent. You can't say don't watch movie, don't listen to music, and we are not proposing anything. There is no creativity. There is a lack of creativity in this community. We speak about rules, we don't speak about imagination. We don't speak about the feelings. I need to feel good. Don't tell me that as a Muslim I should not feel good anyway. Of course, I want the hereafter. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, لا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا. I need in this life to feel good where I live. I need you to tell me how I'm going to do that. Creativity, writing, and all this, these are things that are helping us to be strong and to be confident and to get the sense of how we have to be wise. And then, once again, we need to know the society if we want to get to that. Now, very quickly, that's the good point. But I am telling you, I want you to understand something. All this is good, but you know how do you also keep a community strong? Why do you think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ. If there were not a set of people fighting or struggling against another group, the world would have been corrupt. Why? Because there is something in jihad, there is something in resistance that is helping you to get this strength. If everything was easy, as I said, we need the obstacles, we need the problems and the challenges, in fact, but we need also to understand the meaning of resistance. And the meaning of resistance is based on, as I was saying, لا تخاف. You have to fear not. That you have to go beyond fear, and you have to get that. This understanding that we have to go beyond fear, it's essential for us, because this is where the courage is necessary. And let me tell you something here in our society. We keep on repeating, and this is wisdom, it's about we don't want violence. We are non-violent people, and we are calling for peace. But we are here to change this society for the better, and as much as we see all the good things, we have to address all the challenges. Islamophobia today, it's a reality. You have populists now who are pushing and acting in a way where we are promoting a new type of racism. We have to be ready for that. No Islamophobia, we are going to fight for our rights in this society. So this is a struggle. Racism is a struggle as well. We need to be ready. We need to be courageous enough to speak out. And I'm sorry to see that too many Muslims now, they want a peaceful life to be acknowledged, to be accepted, but they are not ready for the struggle. And the struggle is, we are not here to be accepted, we are here to change the society. We have to be involved. But I'm telling you something which is important. The way we always keep this faith alive has also to do with the struggle. This happened during the Prophet's life, that this struggle and this resistance is necessary. Some people are going to attack you, and by the way they attack Islam, they are going to push you to distort your own message. And we see this. This is why we have to have this communication and the skills to be able to put the priority. We have to decide what are the priorities of our message as Muslims. And this is also something which is essential in our struggle. A resistance when it comes to communication, a resistance when it comes to racism, a resistance when it comes to Islamophobia. This is where we have to be, and we have to be organized. And we need two things here: professionalism and institutions. We should not have this kind of, work, amateurs that are trying to do something. Now we need professionals in many fields. We need people who know what they are talking about when it comes to Islamophobia and racism. People who know what we are talking about when it comes to communication. We need to be skilled. We need to know that this resistance is going to be a high-profile resistance with people who are skilled. Where are you in this? Where are you? What are you doing to get the skills to be able to have this wisdom and this courage? And you have to speak out. You have to speak out in this society when it comes to social injustice. In this society now in Canada, you have people in jail. They don't know why they are in jail. They are suspected and they are in jail for nothing. In the United States, democratic society as well, people who are in jail, solitary confinement, nothing. We don't know why they are in jail, suspected. In Muslim majority countries, people are going now in jail, suspected. What is happening to us? Are we not going to speak out? When I come to the States to go with some Muslim organizations talking about this, they say Muslims are scared. They don't come to such gathering. How come? So it's wisdom without courage. We are not here to talk. We are not here to say, I'm not going to accept that. I am a Canadian citizen. I'm not going to accept my government to put people in jail just because they are suspected. No. You have to be involved in this. And I become emotional on this because you are scaring me. I'm afraid of my religion through you because I see too many Muslims. They are very courageous when nobody is there. A solitary courage. Nothing in society, nothing is said. And comes now what is happening at the international level. You government, you are citizens, you are voting, isn't it? You are going to vote. Your government should understand that there are things that you cannot just keep quiet and you are not going to talk when it comes to supporting some other countries, some dictators, some repressive governments. You have to say no. This is resistance. And your sons, your daughters, you'll respect the parents when they will see that the parents are courageous enough to say, we are not going to give up. Because this is the fight, because this is the struggle, because the Prophet ﷺ was standing up, he was ready. Peace for all, but if you want to oppress, if you want to kill us, you will find us. We will never give up, because this is a question of dignity. This is a question of our wisdom. Our wisdom is to understand if we leave you do what you want to do, the world is going to be corrupt. So our wisdom is we are facing your corruption. We are facing your transgression. So this is where, as Muslims, we have to be involved. And in all international policies. I come here, I'm sorry, I see too many Muslims coming to me and say, we don't have to talk about this. No, I'm sorry. I come to Canada, I'm going to speak about Palestine. I'm not going to give up speaking about Palestine because people now, we heard yesterday that 1,040 new houses are going to be built by Netanyahu, talking about peace and playing with us. I'm not going to give up when people are scared to speak about the coup d'etat in Egypt, even though you are critical with the previous government. You don't give up. You don't shut up. You don't. You don't when in Bangladesh they have killed somebody who was not an extremist. He was killed by the government and the world. Oh, now in the name of this war on terror, you can do whatever. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we are free citizens and we are ready with wisdom. No violence, but courage. But courage. We are going to say it. We are going to say it in our dua. We are going to say it in our dua. We are not going to give up and be silent on this. On Bangladesh, Burma, for example. The world is celebrating Aung San Suu Kyi because she was in jail for so many years. And now she keeps quiet when it comes to Muslims in Rohingya, in Burma, it's a genocide. And nobody is talking. Where are you? Are you not wise enough and courageous enough? Are we not? Should we not talk about that? And if anybody is telling me, don't do with this politics and say, I'm telling you something. If you ask me not to talk, don't invite me. Don't invite me. Never. No, you don't clap. But if you go to a convention, if it's not possible to talk about these things, don't go. Never. You are responsible to let the organizers. We are not going to give up on dignity, wisdom, and courage. This is the way we follow the Prophet ﷺ. This is our liberation. This is our contribution to Canada, because at the end, we are the gift that Canada needs to understand we are for justice, dignity, and freedom for all, not only for us, for the native as well as for the Africans and the people around. And this is beyond, as you understand, is beyond fear. So love and affection to start with this confidence, and then resistance and pride when it comes to struggle. And the two words that I want you to keep in your mind, in your heart for the whole convention: wisdom as to your project, courage as to your resistance. اللهم نسألك بأننا نشهد أنك أنت الله الأحد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. اللهم نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. اللهم اجعلنا من الموحدين. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يقولون لا إله إلا أنت لا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. اللهم تقبل منا دعاءنا وطهر بها قلوبنا. اللهم طهر بدعائنا قلوبنا واشرح لنا نفوسنا وقو إيماننا وثبتنا على دينك يا مقلب القلوب. اللهم رحمتك نرجوه، فاللهم لا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين. اللهم اجعلنا نخشاك كأننا نراك. قو إيماننا، ثبت قلوبنا، واجعلنا يا رحمن يا رحيم من المقبولين من المحبوبين. اللهم نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك والعمل الذي يبلغنا حبك يا رحمن يا رحيم. أنت الرحمن أنت الرحيم. اللهم ارحمنا وتب علينا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم نسألك الجنة. اللهم نسألك الجنة وزيادة. فاللهم متعنا بالرؤية إلى وجهك الكريم يا رحمن يا رحيم. اللهم ارحم والدينا ووالدي والدينا. اللهم اغفر لجميع موتى المسلمين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانية ولنبيك بالرسالة وماتوا على ذلك. اللهم أكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم. اللهم تقبل منا واغفر لنا وارحمنا وتب علينا. اللهم نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك والعمل الذي يبلغنا حبك. اللهم لا تضع في جمعنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا شابا إلا هديته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته. اللهم أنزل علينا جميعا سكينتك ورحمتك واغفر لنا وارحمنا. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل الحكمة والشجاعة يا رحمن يا رحيم. اللهم قال رسولك: أفضل الجهاد كلمة حق أمام سلطان جائر، فاللهم اجعلنا من أهل الحق. فاللهم قو إيمان إخواننا وأخواتنا في فلسطين، اللهم قو إيمانهم في سوريا وفي مصر وفي اليمن وفي برما وفي بنغلاديش. اللهم قو إيمانهم، استجب دعاءهم وأنزل عليهم رحمتك وسكينتك. اللهم استجب دعاء المظلومين، اللهم استجب دعاء المظلومين. وعليك يا الله بالظالمين، اللهم عليك بالظالمين. أرنا فيهم يوما أسودا، زلزل الأرض تحت أقدام الظالمين. يا رحمن يا رحيم، اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم سامحنا وارحمنا وتب علينا وقو إيماننا. اللهم اجعلنا من الصابرين، اللهم اجعلنا من الصابرين، اللهم اجعلنا من الصابرين، اللهم اجعلنا من الصابرين ومن أهل الحكمة والشجاعة. يا رب يا رحمن، يا رب يا رحمن، يا كريم يا ودود، أنت الرحمن فارحمنا. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين.